get into our top 10 left wings list.
All right.
There was major debate over where players actually play.
So our list's going to be much different this week and next
Yeah.
week, I guess, then, because left wings and right wings.
Yeah,
is
we're gonna
gonna
have
be
I'm gonna have players.
some of I think
stay after
I didn't see the same way as you guys saw, but that's the fun
We
of it.
see the game inverted.
Exactly. This is why we love the list. This
why I've got Salah one.
it creates debate. It creates debate. So let's have a look at this. Left wings. Obviously, you've gotten here now. We've got to the front three, so it's big boys now, right?
Well, I thought it was gonna be big boys.
You don't think
And
you
then
got
the
some,
bottom of this list is a bit stinky.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
There's obviously a couple of massive names here, but I don't know. I just feel like every week we keep saying,
it's going to get better.
easier.
It's going to
It's
get
gonna
better.
be
It's not- The only before we start, I got an honourable mention. I was just me with honourable mention.
I could barely get
I don't have
I
an
could barely
honourable
get
mention,
10.
My honourable mention's Antti Alanga. I just, as a
Okay,
United guy,
okay,
watching him and seeing what he's done this year, with Taiwan, he's probably the best attacking option that Forest have got. I think it's now 2 goals, 5 or 4 assists. So,
And he was really good at the start.
and it's electrical. He's actually got a pass in him now, which is really good to see. So he's my honourable mention for this list. Tots,
Okay.
let's do it again. Number 10,
Alejandro Garnacho.
Fairs.
Nah, I'm not even gonna, no disputes. I'm not going to dispute much.
Like,
Like,
I
I
actually
see,
just
I see.
struggled to find a 10th, and he was the only one that came to mind. I had obviously Pedro Neto, but he's not a left wing as we discussed.
Pedro Neto is not a left winger. Just saying.
I'm going to left
Just
winger.
saying.
He's my left winger. Left winger.
Pedro Neto
Yeah.
plays in the run.
So
I got
I-
Anthony Alanga. Sorry. I thought you were
Okay,
saying
fair enough.
yes.
Yeah. I don't have anything to dispute there. I think that's
Yeah,
a
it
pretty
was
good pick.
honorable mention.
So I'm 11th, so he's around the place.
Yeah,
Right?
who you got?
I've got Grealish as 10th.
Ooh, that's okay.
He's obviously a quality player, but the form recently has been a bit
I feel like that's low, but I know you're a bit of a form merchant.
Again, so I've said through. I think I've held firm throughout the whole way that I've
No,
gone
you have
on
been, I
recent.
feel like we've all been actually reasonably consistent. with our
what we see things
criteria.
At. And last season he's 6th or 5th, up there, amongst the top 5.
Probably higher.
Probably high.
Yeah.
But
Definitely higher on mine.
the fact that he struggles, like we were saying off air a little bit, he struggles getting teams now and then. Obviously, it's bad timing because he's scored in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
but he's got that ability in him, but he's looking low on confidence.
It was also like his first goals in like 25 games.
25, 26
Yeah,
games.
it was absurd.
But he's a guy that can easily go up for me. He just hasn't had the great run to start the season off.
Okay. Going into that, Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Nice. I like
So, yeah, I think
I
just
miss?
the names above him. There's only one spot I would have potentially put him higher.
What, 8th?
Sorry, 8th. Yeah, but
that.
but yeah, he's been. I'd actually say I wouldn't have put him in my list if it wasn't for like the last 2 or 3 weeks as well.
He's come back on the scene.
Yeah, he's come back and played all right.
I've for sure.
Scored some goals.
It's handy. It's handy when you score some goals. He gets 17 again. No, but I see where you're coming from because this is why your list has been more like this. I can back you in.
Yeah,
I've got Leandro Trossard at 9.
I love this guy, but I didn't put him on my list.
See,
yeah,
like,
doesn't play enough.
I know you, man, and you're not wrong. But like, I also think
Same party debate though.
he comes
yeah,
on.
yeah,
He
right.
comes on like first or second every
60th
week.
minute every single
And
game.
and he gets he gets 20 to 30 minutes every week, and he gets a little bit of output. I'd probably also give him too much credit for like his non-Premier League games, like because he starts them and he gets returns. And I also think he's a player that Brighton lost, which is never spoken about. We always talk about McAllister, Basuma,
Yep.
like even Kukurea comes up.
Yeah.
Because Trossard left on, for 27 mil or something.
No one talks.
And he left with unreal returns.
He
had when he left.
He scores in big games. Like he scored double against Liverpool.
Him and
He
McAllister's
scored a hat trick
combination.
against Liverpool.
Yeah, it was a hat trick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
3-3 draw hat trick last year.
Yeah, and then he literally left not long after that. It was like
Yeah,
he had
how can
a-
it be
he had a
guy
running
going
with-
after,
it felt like he had a bit of a. Him and De Zerbi had a bit
he
of
got
a
benched.
run in,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was it.
So look, Trossard 9. I don't know. I probably missed someone, but I think he deserves a little bit
That's
of
fair.
credit.
That's fair. I've got Rashford 9.
Okay,
Someone
so you've
that's-
really gone.
Someone's really fallen, really fallen off.
I know.
But here's the anti-Rashford club sitting over here. So
No,
let's-
I actually can understand your point. Just because the fall off
It's
has been
ridiculous.
so bad, that's the only reason I'm getting you.
The fall off is shocking.
The fall off is it's not like he's out of form. He's
This
playing not even Premier League quality.
24, 25 games he's played. He hasn't 2 goals.
Yeah.
Is that how bad it is?
Yeah, but the thing is, maybe
Played
I
20
get
games just this year.
I get the history of I see this every year where he goes one great year, one rubbish year, one good, and then I'm sick of it. If you want to be,
It is actually it is bizarre.
It is
Like,
literally
weird.
this needs to be studied. Like the
has to literally the Martial and Rashford in like study has to be done.
Nah, see, I'm going to go against you with the Martial one just because he only had one good year.
yeah, no, I agree. But
I think
Martial
last year
had
was
one
still
good year.
proficient last
Rashford
season.
in isolation though, it is.
Oh,
mental.
Rashford in isolation,
Like,
obviously, yeah. But I'm grouping a little
Have
bit.
you seen the study on with his girlfriend? So, like, in...
yeah, well, wait, mate, like, are they
Well, she's
sleeping
back
in,
with him
you
now,
know,
so-
is she,
Yeah, but-
is he in the doghouse or something? What's going on? Because like,
Yeah.
But don't you reckon though?
Not seeing these returns yet.
Yeah, like last season he's a top 3 in
Probably
the
the
world.
best last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he probably was- he
top
was
3 in the world.
arguably,
Sort of,
yeah.
people were saying, "Oh, obviously it was jokes," but like Ballon d'Or, blah blah blah. This, but the fact that you can go so low is the reason I have him so low because
No,
you
that's
cannot
why I
trust
understand
him
it,
on a
though.
night to night basis. That's quite.
If it was any other, like, player that was hit the peaks that Rashford hit,
Yeah.
I'd go, you're being ridiculous at the moment because you never expect it for, like, the drop-off to be so significant.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's
It is
insane. Like, you'd expect the drop off. Oh yeah, maybe he's got 2 goals and maybe he's got 2 assists. Like his actual returns this year are terrible, but they're not that bad. It's the
Which is
performances.
performances.
Well,
the
it's
performances,
but it's
yeah.
also like the returns have also been the one thing historically which has allowed Rashford to like,
play
you know,
good,
to
yeah.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
He's a bit like a Haaland.
What we were debating so much, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. If Haaland
And
stops getting returns,
Burns,
like
he's
we saw
terrible.
in his 1 or 2 games last year, like when he went 3 games without a return,
Everyone's like, "Oh, Haaland,
it was like,
Haaland."
oh, City worse now.
But it
It's
is a
true.
detriment with
No, it's
those
true,
type
it's
of
true.
players
If you-
that are
yeah.
so goal like focused.
You're just an out, like you're there for output. Right?
Well, you're playing. If they don't score, you're playing one man less.
Yeah, 100%.
You're one man
It was
down.
like, you know,
Perfectly said,
Mesut
yeah.
Ozil back in the day,
Yeah.
like, 100%.
Like the thing with Rashford, and I've been a bit all year that like in a winger that I want that we saw last night. You need to trap. You need to be edge on your own area.
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
double up on with your partner back there. And when you go forward, you have to try and make those good passes, but don't just play Hollywood passes. He always wants to go for the spectacular. Sometimes for last year the better, this year for the worse.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
the best way to talk about it.
No, I definitely get where you're coming from. With a person like Rashford, however, I think it's like definitely more on the era though. Like, though there was a lot more of those type of players back because teams weren't making their wingers drop back. And where I come from this is like finally, before like you can finish it off, is I'm agreeing with you now on
Yeah.
Rashford. What I said was how good he was last season when we were
ridiculous.
talking about this in like match week 8.
Yeah.
And I thought it was completely ridiculous. But I did make the comment, if he's still like this 17, 18 games down the track, I'm going to move to your path. But I'm saying, I just thought at the time, because I'm a Rashford lover.
Yeah.
But like, I can't be delusional at the same time. Like,
Rashford love him, mate.
I can't be delusional at the same time. Like,
Well, I respect that you're being fair about because you said in recent
because
weeks that
I just thought at the time, and this is where the clash of heads was coming from between me and you, that it was so ridiculous based off how good he was last year. Like we're talking the bloke last year probably won us like 20, 30 points off his own foot, like off his own boot. And at the point in time, we were 8 games in. The whole team wasn't playing well, so I wasn't willing to just put it on Rashford. But what we've seen is even the games now, after 17 games, even the games like now that we've played well, he's still playing bad.
That's
the thing that I've
that's a
clicked
problem.
over.
Yeah.
So it's not now.
So I
team
can't
form.
wait to see where you've ranked Rashford after all that.
Number 1, right? Number 8. Let's go number 8. It's Todd Twitter number 8.
Sterling.
I like it because
Caro Matoma. Who have you got number 8?
I got Sterling as well. I thought you put him behind. You talk about Matoma, then we'll talk about Sterling.
Oh, I just think like proof is in the pudding in the sense that De Zerbi like doesn't start him anymore. I know he started on the weekend, but Matoma went 4 or 5 games without starting,
I know.
and like
Is that on him?
yeah, well, I think it's similar to Rashford in a more in like a less extreme sense in that Matoma last year, one thing which got like kind of put him on the map a little bit was his output. He was scoring from like such low XG shots, and he was doing it consistently. He was overperforming his data so much, and it was like wow, like who is this guy? Like how come I don't really know who he is? Maybe I'm casual, but
But Brighton Classic.
But no, I swear to God, it was like his output was so good considering how little, like how bad the chances were to an extent. Whereas this year, it's kind of just like I haven't seen a lot from Matoma. Personally, I don't think in terms of his output because his output is bad. He's not getting returns. And I just think it's kind of like a bit of a sort of like shows where Bryden are out this year. They're just not really on it
That's
at the moment.
I've got him in a bit, but I'll tell you, I think it's as much as a reflection on him, it's also the team and what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a lack of focus on the Prem, and then also the team isn't creating enough chances or scoring enough chances. So as such, Matoma falls into that.
Yeah.
But it's fair. Actually, your point is fair enough because there's some quality players I think we can put above him. Sterling, we both have Sterling.
That feels
maybe it's a bit harsh to the establishment sort of thing. Like that he's been there. He's been there for time now. But again, it feels a bit like Matoma for me. The fact that he can't benefit because he's a guy that I always thought has benefited from great players around him. Luis Suarez. You've got
all the City team.
The whole City team. Like they had that peak with Sturridge, Suarez himself, like that, and Coutinho. They're all playing together. And this is nothing against Sterling. I think he's a quality player, but if you look back through his career, he's played with some superstar. Like we're talking like Premier League greats. So you can call him a tapping manager, blah blah blah. He knows how to get to the right spot. But we're seeing
that was a great way to put that.
Yeah, like he knows to get the right spot, and he's a direct guy that if he doesn't score the goals, what else can he provide?
100% agree.
Yeah, talking about that, like he gets to the right place at the right time, that is a skill in itself. But the problem with that is when he was at City and partially at Liverpool, like he would get into the right positions, but you had quality players getting the ball into those positions.
Yeah, exactly.
And also,
but who actually is putting the ball in those positions now?
He's having to be that guy.
He also butchered so many of them. Like as in, that was one of his criticisms back then the whole time was that like, okay, you're scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah.
But you're missing so many as well. And that's why I guess City moved him
They
on.
got rid of him, yeah.
Yep.
I just think he's become that guy who has to set it up now.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. Obviously, we're seeing some new parts of his game, like the weekend, which I thought I hadn't seen for a while. We can get to the bar line, cut the ball back, bang, assist, goal. And he's got that in his game, right?
I haven't seen that enough
but it's not
from him.
consistent enough.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
he's not that sort of player. He's a player who's going to benefit off that. In a fantasy world, he's a great false nine in a team that works perfectly around him. And realistically, he's a guy that's a poacher.
Reject Haaland, mate.
That's sort of vibe.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Seven.
Seven Matoma. So we've already touched on him a bit,
7,
but I think his output last year was like quite good. So that's probably why he's I wouldn't say 7 is high, but high-ish on my list.
Top 7 of the Prem.
Yeah,
so
so
I
top
mean,
7
7 in the Prem.
But like
Yeah.
I'm, you know me, like I'm putting a bit of based off last year.
absolutely,
So that's why he's so high.
I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought I had him a bit high, but the thing is as well, the only thing I guess I have to touch on that sort of not shocked me, but caught a bit off guard from your sort of statement about him. I still reckon his performances are very, very good. Every time he comes on, there is instantly Brighton have a sharpened edge. They have a bit about them that we don't see about them, and you watch him and the way he goes about things, the way he goes through defenders, past defenders, how he links with that fullback as well. Whoever plays that fullback with him, whether it be Gross, whether it be Veltman, whoever plays out there with him, it just instantly looks better. And wherever and you said perfectly well, he hasn't started most weeks, like in the last 5 or 6 weeks, but every time he's come on, they look.
He's also deserved his first
times
go-to
better.
guy. Like
Exactly.
he's come on at 45 minutes, quite a bit,
Exactly.
half time a bit. So, look,
I just think De Zerbi's trying a bit too much.
On Brighton, I would agree with that, but we'll get to that. But,
definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, at 7, I have Rashford.
Fair,
Let me just double
fair.
check.
Yeah.
Rashford 7.
Yeah, I think we've touched on him already.
Yeah.
Sixes.
Number 6, Anthony Gordon.
Same here.
Wow, you two are. linking up tonight.
Other than for Rashford,
I think he's been like really good. And like the only reason he's again low is like I know he did a lot for Everton last year, but he was a little bit injured in the second half of last year. And then like looking at like I'm just based off. I know you probably have a different explanation for this because you go about your process a lot differently. But last year he was good at the start of the season, then he became a bench option. He's now
He
starting
had that
again.
Newcastle move and
It was bizarre.
They
never
sold
played.
They sold him cheaper than they would have sold him for in summer. And then
He didn't play.
he didn't play.
Yeah,
it was weird.
so
It was really
weird. And then he started off the season quite well, but I feel like the last 5 or 6
He's really
games
kicked on.
he's dropped off.
Oh, you dropped off.
Oh,
No, hasn't he? Yeah.
I think he's kicking into
He's
gear.
kicked on, man.
No, he started the season way better than he is right now.
Nah, bro. Anthony
This
Gordon's
is what I touch on. Like, I don't want to go like over the top, but I think it's a revolution. This guy went from being an absolute
That's why
nobody,
he's high on my list. 'Cause I think he's just gone next level.
memed for his haircut and all this stuff. But literally, this guy
His first 8 games were quality though.
and his last 6 have been against
Maybe I'm losing
PSG.
He's also had like good output in these games.
his assists in the
I
weekend,
must be like
solid.
losing it then.
You know what it is though? It's a clinical passing nature where he just finds the pass 8 times out of 10. And if Anthony Gordon never thought I'd see the day, and when he picks the ball up, when him and Miggy are both going at a high level, that's fearful for any day. I don't care what defense you are. He did it against PSG. He's done the Champions League. I think he's been one of their best Champions League performers. I know it's taking Premier League out of it, but still,
It's
really
a factor.
big deal.
It's
They're in the
factoring
group
in.
of death, and he's done very well.
Yeah.
And I just think his confidence, he's seeing the confidence with him now. He picks the ball up and he
I
goes.
100% agree. The confidence
It's
is
changed.
9 day. I 100% agree.
And maybe it's the whole Everton. I think it's one of those old clubs, so the pressure just feels a little bit bigger. But he's gone to Newcastle, like you said, really struggled initially. Last 3 or 4 games last season, we saw a bit more from him off the bench,
season's
starting,
been excellent,
and
though.
then literally this season and pre-season, all the Newcastle fans I heard about pre-season were just raving about Anthony Gordon and Longstaff to change our team this year, and I was like, these two got like 2 English guys. Are you kidding me? But these,
Sean Longstaff,
but these 2 guys have been pivotal so far in this back end.
Yeah,
this
I'll
middle
just
point of the
say,
season.
like, touching on it before we move on, the reason he's like 6th and maybe not like 4th or 3rd for me is purely on the fact of like, it's just this year. So that's the only reason. And like,
Absolutely.
I'm big on like, I look at this more at the 18th month view.
Yeah.
Obviously, I prioritize the last 6 months, but not as heavily as probably you two do.
And I've kept an account because some of the players ahead have just had incredible runs. But
Yeah.
you go ahead.
I've got Grealish at 6. So
I like it. I understand it. I definitely understand it.
I just like very similar mindset. You guys said Rashford below Grealish.
Yeah.
I think.
Same
And then
thing.
like as in, I just think left wingers don't play left wing.
Like I've said, a lot
I
this
just
year.
think it's right wingers, not left wingers. So that's why.
fair enough.
I've got kind of a little bit higher. But so that was my 6th. 5th.
Okay, 5th, I've got Rashford, which kind of contradicts a little bit of what I was saying. But as I've said,
Bro was
I've-
cooking Rashford.
I was cooking Rashford, but
put a fifth.
the problem, he was number 1 in the Prem last year. So it's already a 5-place drop-off within half a season, which I know how terrible he's been, and I've stated that already. But for me, it was still hard to put him lower than that.
If he has a full season like this,
he wouldn't make the top 10.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I was hoping you'd say he wouldn't have the top 10 because I'd be like, if you say he's 10th, I'd be like, that's a.
Well,
No, correct.
So he would be like my 10th or not. Yeah, but as in full season like this, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so like, I'm purely just because of the heights he hit last year. I found it hard to.
You're
put
holding
him,
out hope.
I found it hard to put him any lower. Like everyone, as you say, as an Arsenal fan, and you saw it this year, even though he wasn't good, he's still the type of player that scares the big 6 when you verse them.
And the reason I think that like I can see why you put Rashford 5, and 100% I agree with this, is that his game or his all-round game has never been has never been that. He's never been in the team for his all-round game. And it's the fact that we know his season could flick like this because he's just an output guy. And he can shoot he can do things a lot of players can't do. He can shoot the ball from 30 meters out and knock a ball at bottom corner. And players can't. And that I feel like is one of the reasons why you want to judge him for the full season because we know like 2 or 3 games he can score 8 goals.
I know it was a bit earlier this time last year, but if you actually go look at his like first 14, 15 games last year, he only really kicked on during the Christmas period.
Yeah.
World Cup changed him.
Yeah, the World Cup,
went-
he came back from I think before the World Cup, I don't even know if he had 3 Premier League goals. I'm pretty sure he did. He had 3 Premier League goals. Right now he's got 2.
I said, didn't he score that goal against Burnley before they went away where he just ran from like the halfway? Wasn't that just before the World Cup?
Not sure.
Where he took the ball from like the halfway, dribbled like the whole team.
Against Burnley, so was that
In the FA
EFL?
Cup.
Yeah,
And-
FA Cup.
and
But
everyone's like,
I know,
he's
he
back.
definitely was in a better state at the first 10, 15 games of last year. But I'm saying, I don't think he was doing that well either.
I just
either way.
think it's because the goals he was scoring. Arsenal, he scored against Liverpool. It was like, these
True,
goals
true.
are mammoth. And they were like, that was our turning point. That's why it felt the weighting
And
of
they
the
were
goals.
so impactful in terms of points.
Yeah.
He won us 12 points by the halfway point. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
okay.
My 5?
Yeah, you're 5.
Or Raheem Sterling. So as I said, I've just put them 2 or 3 higher than you guys.
Because I've got 3 more that you wouldn't have. Yeah.
So I got Sterling 5. Yeah, nothing.
I didn't really add on.
Big about that.
So here's the first differential. We talked a little bit before. My first differential, Neto at 5. I think he's left. Maybe he's not left. But
Neto will be around there on my right wing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I just
We're
don't
going to
think-
like amalgamate the 2 lists into one big video. But that's where I've got him.
Great word, amalgam. That was a nuts word.
He's, you know what? He'd be
Bloke's been studying the Urban Dictionary.
He would be 2 for me if he had still been playing. the injuries, we talked about it, it killed it for like Wolves and for him. Yeah. He was in a hot streak, hitting like 7 celebrations for a goal. Like he was doing the
Sorry,
lot.
I shouldn't go on about it. Do you see Bruno Guimaraes, like, when he scored recently, had like 10 celebrations.
Everyone's doing it now.
You gotta watch the video; it's hilarious.
There's
so
heaps of them now
funny.
on TikTok where they hit like 8 celebrations in one go. But yeah,
It's hilarious.
he's been massive for them, picking the ball up, doing it all himself, like not even have to pass anyone.
Yeah.
Him and Huang's partnership was great before they got injured, and it's just a shame he's not playing because these guys above him are playing or have played great along the last 18 months. But what a turnaround, because he was saving Wolves at the start of the season where we all thought they were a little bit rocky to start the season off. There was one guy who turned it around for them, and it was Neto. So that's why he's fifth.
I wonder who's going to get slated in the comments, by the way. Like, casual,
Probably me.
He plays on the left, like he's on the byline, literally.
I hope I'm right by this. This is what I'm feeling. I didn't change it. I just went with what I felt.
I'm going to make a comment before we go into the final four. I reckon there's I'm going to go that 70% chance that we've got every player now in the right order.
Nah, because I know he's got someone at 4, which I don't have.
No, we
don't. Anyway, I'm scared.
Let's go.
I got Diaby at 4.
Same.
Musa Diaby is a right winger. Right wing / centre forward. I have Anthony,
You know what?
I have Anthony Gordon at 4.
Nice.
Okay, so our top 3 will be the exact same. I was stressing for a second there. I was like, wait, who did you guys miss? But no, so, okay, quickly, just because you guys already said Gordon. I just, same reason again, Gordon's a little bit higher because I don't have Diaby, I don't have Neto, because they are right wingers.
Okay, so I think, like, again, Diaby would be another type of person that you would have quite high on your right wing list.
Diaby's been good, bro.
Yeah.
But then again, has been benched a bit recently. And I know he started on the weekend, but he started the season on fire.
Overshadowed by Bailey.
Yeah, Leon Bailey's kicked on, man.
Overshadowed by Bailey.
Who I hope isn't on this list.
No,
definitely.
I didn't know initially, but
I talked some sense.
Apparently, I'm watching the game.
Talk some sense into this guy.
Yeah, so number 3.
Yeah.
Diaby, yeah.
I feel like, again, I watch enough of other European leagues to know, and I've watched what he did, the cumulative bulk of work. He was a guy that was very direct. He was a guy that was, like we said at the start, very pacey. But I think what we've seen this year under Unai's tutelage is a bit more like of that inside game, right? To pass off, to get the 1-2, the Watkins. I still like what they're doing here with either Bailey or with Diaby. It's players up front too. You're like a false striker, you're like a right forward or left forward, and you work together. And I think Diaby's game, what I think the next step that he's made this year is that the ability to play with the striker or play off that, like we kept saying off air, like they're playing like a 4-2-2-2, play off these sort of midfielders and the like. So I think that's where he's elevated his game.
Diaby's a right mid on FIFA. Yes. That's all that needs to be said. All that needs to be said. Diaby's a right mid on FIFA.
EAFC, he's nailed it.
Bro.
Yeah, well, moving on, I completely agree with most of those things.
And he's been one of the most formed teams in the...
It's just like Villa's kick, like the kick on they've had this year. I know they had a good end to last year.
Second most points this calendar year.
84 points into Unai's take.
Yeah, and there's still games left this year, which is crazy. They could hit the 90 mark, but...
That's nuts.
Oh, actually, is there 2 games before the new year?
They would. They will have 2
They're
games.
playing New Year's Eve.
Yeah, they would be.
Because midweek and New Year's Eve. And New Year, so yeah.
Yeah, so moving on to number 3, I think we all have this pretty consistent. Diaz.
No, I got Martinelli.
Oh, no. No, that is...
No, that's... I've got a bone to pick here.
Okay, I've got
Pick your bone
as well. Wow.
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick because I know probably Diaz doesn't even start for Liverpool every week.
That is insane.
I agree. Diaz is a class player, but he doesn't even start.
Like, not every week. But no, it's... Yeah.
He's not a starter. He's not...
I got to bring, like... When his family was there, he's been playing. Like, he only didn't start because he was injured and his family got abducted. Like, let's be real. Let's just be serious about it.
No, I disagree. I think
he missed 5 games,
I
2 injured, 3 his dad was
Diaz
missing.
is a starter,
Yeah,
like 100%.
No, he is a starter. I just saying it wasn't.
No, but I just think, like, that's insanely harsh on Martinelli, man. This guy, like, did you watch our game last night?
Did.
How good was he?
He's great, but I forget that the output that Diaz has.
Harsh,
What's
bro.
Diaz's output this year?
Let me check it.
He's got less output. He's got less output than Kai Havertz, and that's 4 goals, 1 assist. I saw a photo today.
Definitely.
100% he's got less output than Kai Havertz.
So
And
looking
Kai
at
Havertz
that,
is
and
a lost
Martinelli
form.
was levels above last year.
And Martinelli is playing in a worse system now for output because he gets so wide in the byline, and he was absolutely cooking Joel Veltman last night. It was insane.
Oh, I had him skates. Yeah,
It was insane. And then that Hinchwood geezer came
So
on.
did you?
3-2. Yeah, so 5.
Yeah.
And what's
Nuts
Martinelli?
output in 17 games.
Martinelli,
Gary's
yeah.
probably got the same thing. Like, and he's washed apparently.
Well, yeah, he's at a bad. I think he's a bad start of the season.
I think that's
performances have been alright, but the ability in the final third of 2 players up and down this year, Erdegaard and Martinelli, are the 2 guys that let him down for me. Last year was really, really good. I've always rated Diaz very highly though.
He's only got 2 goals, Gabby.
Like last season, every Champions League game that he played, Liverpool, Champions League game, every Champions League game, they were great in.
He's got 2 goals and assists.
Yeah, so I just think
he's
the player,
so clear,
the
though.
all-round player. I just think Diaz has got it. He plays. Obviously, he's going to play in a system that's benefiting the way he plays his football. I just like the way he goes about it. Connecting the midfield nicely is always an option. Always a receiver. Martinelli's good at that as well. But I feel like Martinelli with his head down is not as good as Diaz with his head down. Head down, getting the spots. Diaz has got that for me. Diaz can head the ball in the back of the net. Diaz can score his left, can score
Probably
his
the only thing
right.
he's better at though.
Gabriel Martinelli is so much better on both feet than Luis Diaz.
Finishes,
That's so...
a finisher. I think
so
that's a separating factor
so
for me. Diaz is a finisher, separates it for me.
I just look at it again. I think their year so far has been very much like on par, and then you go back to last year. That's how you look at it. If they're both on par this year,
Well,
how do you?
Martinelli had 2 different injuries last season. They were missing 10 weeks.
But that's true. But it's just like the reason why you have Neto at 4, and not you know what I
But
mean? Like,
we're doing over the two seasons, right?
No,
we're
I-
expecting 2
Martinelli
seasons.
was
I would
like
say it's-
borderline
But this season-
team of the season
I would
last
say
year.
it's
Yeah,
the way,
I'm
even
talking-
the way you look at it.
When Diaz played last year, every time Diaz played Liverpool, we all agree Liverpool had a rubbish season last year.
Best ability.
He-
is their availability.
You say it every time he played though, their team got 10 times better. You look at that Champions League run. Him and Nunes were some of the reasons why they did so well in the Champions League games last season.
No. I think it's between 2 and 3. You know, like I think we're probably deeping it too much, but I'm obviously an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
so he's
I
my boy,
thought
man.
there was
I
a
love Gabby.
bit. Only reason I'm having like this argument is I thought there was a bit of a gap between the top 2 and
Yeah,
third.
I would have agreed, but look, is what it is.
I think his Martinelli's dribbling is next to none. But I think his finishing and all-round guy, I think the way he connects
You didn't
the team
see his
up.
great shot against City where he deflected it off Ake's leg. Pretty sure that was an insane finish.
Yeah, well, we've touched
got
on
there.
2 either way
Yeah,
for
so we've
everyone.
done two.
So we'll move on to the clear and outright number 1.
Sonny.
And that's just like
Sorry.
I mean, and that's purely on this season.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even do anything last year. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
I
So
was,
you
when I
say
was
he didn't
thinking,
do anything, but somehow the bloke
He
I was
didn't- he
looking,
didn't know. He
he
did
still had
nothing.
10 goals last year, 10 Premier League goals.
I think he did something like that.
Have a look. I'm putting my word on
I
this.
think
I'll
I think
leave
was
the
sort of-
room right now
I think
if I'm wrong.
I think he scored a good year last year.
I'm leaving.
No,
No, he didn't have
he
a good
was
year, but
terrible
he
last
just
year.
clicked.
No.
10.
He scored
sorry.
one hat-trick against Leicester.
No, he didn't have a good year, but he had into the output. It wasn't like a rubbish.
scored
His output
one-
wasn't rubbish.
Scored one hat-trick against Leicester, and that was
Go
about
have a
it.
look.
I'm checking. Anyway, so my main query about putting Son as best left wing is 'cause he's played his best
he
games have
played
been
striker.
Striker, yeah.
But then again, it's like, okay, I'm willing to
Son's
be
a left
traditionalist here, and Son is a left wing.
And if they have a capable striker like they've had in the last 3 weeks, he plays left wing. So that's where I said it come from, the fact that
No way he had 10 goals and 6
that goes to show how good
Well,
the
yeah,
guy
how many
is.
assists did he have? 6.
6.
That's like 16
Yeah,
goals
see.
and assists
In a crap season.
in a team that didn't do well and he didn't do well.
So dead last year though.
Yeah, I know.
What was
he
it?
got dropped at
Just,
one point.
just hypothetically, I want to see how far. How much was Martinelli goals and assists last season? Was he 20?
17.
So you're telling me he had
goals
one more
and goals and
goals and
assists.
assists?
Oh, no, he
yeah,
had
yeah.
17 goals,
Yeah,
Martin.
well,
Yeah,
goals.
How many assists do you have though?
I reckon
I'm just
6.
I want to see the difference. No, I'm not discrediting Martinelli's
Okay,
season.
let's just before you do this though, just factor in one of them was like 21 last year. And
No.
one of them's a
I'm just
golden
going
boot.
to. This is going to show how good Son is. I'm not trying to
He had
underline.
15 and 9.
So 24
So
versus
24
16.
compared to 16.
That's a big
So
difference.
That is a big
Yeah, but
difference.
for Son's apparently worst years at Tottenham versus Martinelli's best year at.
One's 21 and one's golden boot.
No, I'm just. We're doing number versus number, objective versus objective. For a team that was in a title race and performing the best, and he performed the best he's had in his
and
career.
factor this in, Son only outperformed his XGI by 1. Martinelli outperformed it by 8. 8 more
And take into another thing into
which
consideration.
means better, like they played better than they were expected to.
Can we take something else into consideration as well?
What?
I think that Martinelli is more impactful if he doesn't score than Son is.
100%. Going defensively, 100%.
Defensively, yes.
This guy tracks
But
back and
in terms of
insane.
just their games without
Surprised you
scoring,
don't love him.
like,
He's
second
a
Some
good track
plays
back
direct.
merchant.
I absolutely love Martinelli.
Sorry,
I
some
absolutely love him.
Martinelli's
Nah,
way
you
more
hate him. Just say
way
his
more.
face. Yeah.
Son's way more
He is
direct
up
than
for it.
Martinelli. He's way more direct. Martinelli plays more like as a
Oh yeah, because
traditional
Martinelli's got
left
someone.
mid.
Yeah, because Martinelli's got someone to pass. Like obviously this year, Martinelli's got someone to pass to.
But he's
So-
more of a traditional left mid Martinelli.
Yeah, Son's a left forward.
Yeah. So
Well, look
you'd
at-
hope his goals are
And
higher.
Son's best games, as we just said, have come at striker this year.
Yeah.
So like, and we're basing this a lot on this season so far because this last year he would have been third max on this list. I would have thought.
Max, you can third Max.
Yeah, Max.
I just think.
Bro, Martinelli and Rashford was so clear of you
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, then who's third for you?
I'm saying if it was last year, it would have been Son might have been pushing third max.
Oh, I think you weren't saying he wasn't to be third or something like that. Or something like that. Someone else would be third. Who else would be third for you?
No, he's saying like
No,
that's
I'm
the
saying
best
as
he
in,
would
like,
be
just off the top of
though.
my head,
He
right,
wouldn't
sorry,
touch top
sorry.
two.
I thought you were saying he's gonna get the top
So I'm
three,
saying
like-
as in, like, I reckon we're almost giving him too much credit to have gone from like pushing third to like being, kind of consensus number one right now, considering his best games have been at one.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, I think you factor in his whole history and how good he is now.
You're going against what I've done for most things, but if you look back at him, he's been not on pen, second option, blah, 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 and he's still won a golden boot and been second in the golden boot, right? Am I correct in saying that? This goes to show, like, in terms of a player, like, and if a down season, 16 goals and assists, like, I think we need to give him more credit than we're saying, he's doing well just this season. This guy will go down as probably one of Tottenham's greatest players.
Yeah, he's unfortunately
and one
been
of the Premier
overshadowed
League's.
by
Yeah.
Kane all the time.
Wait, one more statement quickly.
Yeah.
I think as well though, touching on what you were saying, Flynn, he's number one outright just purely on the fact I think the left wing performances this year have been quite poor in comparison to last year. Like the top,
Heung-min?
no, like
other
in
players,
general,
other
in
players.
general.
Yeah.
No Grealish.
I look, he's
Well,
struggled
like
to make this
Martinelli's
move.
way off. Martinelli and Rashford were arguably the
Grealish,
two best
Yeah,
players
I would
in the
say
Prem.
Grealish and Rashford.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Martinelli's fallen off, but I would say Grealish and
A
Rashford.
little bit he has. Slightly.
He can't handle the
We'll
fact
leave it
that he's
there.
goals and assists.
Yeah,
like
okay.
that.